We're on to the Chesed Aleph, 98a. Okay, so we have some very interesting stories describing Moshiach and describing his state of being. Some of it's very beautiful. Some of it requires some thought and some explanation, which I've given some thought. And at the moment, I'm empty-handed. We'll see how we progress. But I'm going to put out to you what I'm thinking, and you'll tell me what you think about it. Okay, so we're Rabbi Shimon Levi. The line starts with the word Amar Le, Mi Islach Bar Chiyur Gavni, and then Rabbi Shimon Levi. There's a little test before the Rabbi Shimon Levi. It's probably 11, 12 lines from the bottom of the page, roughly. You have Robert?
No, sorry.
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah. That's it, Rabbi Shimon Levi right there.
Thank you.
Okay, Rabbi Shimon Levi. Rabbi Shua, son of Levi, Ashkechil Eliyahu, he found Elijah the prophet. Tavakoy, that he was standing at Pischa at the entrance, the Marta, the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, of the cave of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Now, I don't know if this means. Okay, so another version I seen in the side here, they say that he wasn't standing at the gate of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's cave, but rather at the gate of Gan Eden. That he found Eliyahu Hanavi and Rabbi Shimon standing at the Shimon Bar Yochai at the gate of Gan Eden, which chronologically would probably make more sense because the story of the cave, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and Rabbi Eliezer in the cave, right? The famous story where Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai ran away from the Romans because he said something and they didn't like what he said, so they chased him out. And he hid in the cave for 12 years, and then in the 13th year, and they sat there studying the whole famous story described. That's what you would assume it's talking about, but I don't know that Rabbi Shimon Levi was there at the time to say he would have met him at that cave. Secondly, the point of the cave was it was unknown, so it would be like strange if like people knew where the cave was and he'd be going and chatting with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Or it could be he's at that cave and it's a spiritual vision of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, because Eliyahu Hanavi is there also, so it's a spiritual vision to begin with. But I don't think that it means Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is actually hiding out in the cave during those 13 years and Rabbi Shimon Levi comes to talk to him. Don't think that's what it means. But I'm just translating what it says. As I noticed, I said on the side over here in the Gemara, it brings in a version where Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and Elijah the prophet are at the entrance to Gan Eden, to paradise. Anyway, there's different stories, different versions of the story. We'll read the way the Gemara has it here. So Rabbi Shimon Levi meets Elijah the prophet at the entrance to the cave of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Amar Le, so Rabbi Shimon Levi asked them, Isnu la'alma da'asi? Will I be allowed in to the world to come? Either he means life after death, or he means Moshiach's time. Will I make it there? Amar Le, so Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai responded, or maybe Eliyahu Hanavi responded, Elijah the prophet responded, probably. Im yirtzu adon hazeh, if this master will want, meaning the presence of Hashem was there as well. And he's saying, if the master wants, and like if Hashem wants. So Rabbi Shimon Levi commented later, Shnayim ra'isi, I saw two. I saw Elijah the prophet and I saw Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. L'fakor gimel shamaiti, I heard a third voice, implying the presence of Hashem was there. He indeed confirmed that. Okay. So he asked if he's going to make it to the world to come, whatever that means, either life after death or Mashiach, and he's told, if God wants, we don't have a say in the matter. For whatever reason, he can't communicate with Hashem directly. He's communicating with Eliyahu Hanavi, with Elijah. Amar Le, so he asked Eliyahu Hanavi, Emas asim Mashiach, when is Mashiach going to arrive? Amar Le, so Elijah the prophet told him, Zil Shailale, go Zay Shailale today, go ask him. Don't ask me. Just as I'm reading this now, I'm thinking, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is not doing the conversing, so why is he in the story? Maybe it's like the merit of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai that brings Elijah Eliyahu Hanavi there. I don't know. I'm just pointing that out. Like, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is not conversing here. It's Eliyahu Hanavi and Rabbi Shua ben Levi. But yet Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is present. And it's at his cave in this version of the story. Anyway, so Eliyahu says, don't ask me, go ask Mashiach himself, find out when he's coming. So, V'hecha Yosef, where's he sitting? How do you go find Mashiach? Where do you find him? Sorry?
Sorry, I was just thinking about what you just said.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a point of reference to the location.
But it says Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was there. Besides for the fact that he was at the cave, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was actually there. Because he says, I heard two people.
Which cave? I guess it was just a point of reference.
This cave where Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai spent 13 years.
Maybe the only point of reference is that it's the
To tell you the location.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't know.
It's cool. In this version of the story, certainly. In the other version where they're at paradise, then it's wholly spiritual. Anyway, so Eliyahu Navi says, go ask Mashiach himself, don't ask me. V'hecha Yosef, where's he sitting? Apischa de Karta. He's sitting at the gates to Rome. Karta means like the big city. That's what Karta means, the central metropolis. Right? The Torah Karta, that group, literally translates as the guardians of the city. Karta means a big city. So Pischa de Karta is sitting at the gates of Rome. Go see him there. My simana. How will you identify him? He's sitting at the gates. There's hundreds of people presumably sitting at the gates. So he says, Yosef ben Aniyeh, he's sitting amongst the poor ones. Soiv lechaloyim, suffering in wounds. See, already this is a very beautiful description of Mashiach, not somebody who's hanging out in the halls of power and rubbing elbows with the emperor, but rather sitting at the gates with the poor people and suffering the wounds. I've seen at least twice whatever references this as the description of Mashiach coming from amongst the people, who lives their lives and amongst the people. We had this before also with Mashiach lineage. We talked about Mashiach lineage being like a borderline questionable lineage, in that he's not some ruler who's grew up in a bubble of the palace and from his home tells everybody how to live. Rather, someone who lived with the people, amongst the most destitute of them, sitting at the gates amongst the poor people, suffering of wounds. Now, this line here, I'm still struggling to try to figure out what the next line means. What this means, maybe you can help me. I'll tell you what I'm thinking about, but you can. Now, Bakulon, all the others. Okay, so there's a lot of poor people there, and they're all suffering from wounds. How do you know which one of them is Mashiach? It says Bakulon, all of them. Sharu Vasiri Bechad Zimna. All of them are untying and tying their bandages at once. Now, I think what this means is what seems from Rashi is, let's say they have 5 wounds and they have 5 bandages. So they take off all of them at once, wash them, and then put all 5 back on. But Ihu, he, Mashiach, Sharichad v'Asrchad. He opens one and ties one, and then the next one consecutively. As opposed to all 5 at once, wash all 5 and then put them back on. I'm just using the number 5. It could be 10, it could be 100, I don't know, it doesn't say a number. Just using it as an example. They're all changing their wounds. They're changing the dressings of their wounds all at once. However many wounds they have, take off all the bandages, clean them, and put new bandages on. Whereas Mashiach is doing one at a time. Taking off one, cleaning, and putting it back on. Taking off another, putting it back on. Why? Omar, because Mashiach tells himself, Dilma, perhaps, Mibayina, don't leave me. In other words, maybe I'm going to be told, okay, go be Mashiach, go. And
He's on call.
He's on call. And delay ikiv. And I don't want to hold it back. In other words, if I have 10 dressings to put back on, or whatever, 10, 15, whatever it is, it's going to take me time to get them all back on. But if I only have one off at a time, much easier. Just put it back on, and I can run. So this is the description. And this is where I'm trying to figure out what this means. What does this mean? What does this mean? Everybody's changing wounds, and it's obviously metaphorical of Jewish suffering, and somehow there's one attitude towards suffering. This is where I'm thinking, at least. So there's one attitude towards suffering, which is rip off all the bandages and then replace them with something new. And another way of dealing with the bandage, with the wound, with the Jewish suffering, is to deal with one at a time. And somehow doing one at a time makes him ready to play his role as Mashiach. I don't know how that works out, but that's what it seems to me, the surface. Or maybe it's not a reference to Jewish suffering, but to sin, to doing teshuvah. One way to do teshuvah is all at once, and somehow another way of doing teshuvah is one at a time, and that's what makes him ready for Mashiach's coming. I don't know, I'm putting these thoughts out there, but Just think about what does this mean?
Maybe you can also relate to the different ways in which Moshiach can come. One being kind of very quickly through,
Right.
in other ways through
The long process.
periods of tshuva, where we step by step and finally we get there.
The one at a
as
time.
opposed to Hashem just saying, that's it, redemption. Anyway.
Yeah. Could also be a combination of both, because he's dealing with one issue at a time, and yet why is he doing that? So it can go right away. He's doing that so it can go right away. Maybe
each sin each sin has to be dealt with complete focus
right.
and not lumped.
It's supposed to like jumping to the end.
Okay, like a blanket tshuva.
Yeah, we had this before.
Focus on, okay, I did this,
Yeah,
concentrate
I
on that.
quoted this before from Rebbe, something about someone who jumps to the top, jumps into the deep end. The danger is that his position's not going to hold, because he'll lose it as fast as he got it. Someone who jumps from the lowest level to the highest level of serving Hashem like that, as opposed to going step by step, earn your level and then go to the next one, earn your level. We talked about that. So maybe it's like something like that. Yeah, it could be related to that too.
What about the multiple candidates for Moshiach? How does that play?
That's what here describing it as this one guy who's sitting at the gates in Rome. I said, I don't know if this is.
Wasn't there reference to there's several?
There's several manners in which he can arrive.
No, I mean several
Individuals.
who are changing their bandages?
Yeah, but only one of them is Moshiach. And how do you know which one it is? He's the one guy who's going to be changing his bandages one at a time, whereas everybody else is doing it all at once. And that becomes my question, like, what's the story with this? Why is everybody changing their bandages all at once, and why is he changing it one at a time?
Maybe it's
And that's the identifying marker that makes him Moshiach, because he's ready at any minute to go, because he's only changing one bandage at a time. It's an interesting description. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know.
leaders have community. They do things as a community, but the leader has a special, like the Kohen Gadol has his own special sin offering he has to do.
Meaning the other people weren't doing it wrong.
No,
They're supposed to do it. But he has a different.
he has a different role as a leader. He has to do like the Kohen Gadol has a special sin offering that he does, and then there's also a massive sin offering
For everybody else.
communal violations that they do as a group. It's that idea. Distinguish the
Yeah,
leader.
and the truth is that he does one for himself, for his family,
Right.
and then one for everybody else. Yeah.
And then a distinction for the leader.
Yeah, these are all interesting ideas to give it more thought. Okay, so this is how Eliyahu Novi tells Yeshua ben Levi how to identify Mashiach. Go to the gates of Rome. You'll find the poor guys who are suffering from wounds, and Mashiach's going to be the one guy changing his wounds one at a time, as opposed to everybody else changing their wound dressings all at once. So, Azel Gabe, say fine. Say goodbye to Eliyahu Novi. Off he went to Rome to go meet Mashiach at the gates. Amar Lei, Mashiach tells him, Amar Lei, he tells Mashiach, he finds this poor guy changing his dressing one at a time. Amar Lei, and he tells Mashiach, Shalom Alecha Rabbi Mardi. Greetings, my master and teacher. Shalom Alecha literally means peaceful unto you. It's greetings. Greetings, master and teacher. So Amar Lei, so Mashiach responded, Shalom Alecha, greetings unto you, Bar Levi, son of Levi. His name is Yeshua ben Levi. So Bar Levi is like a Shneir's son of Shneir. Bar Levi is a similar kind of thing, son of Levi. Amar Lei, so Yeshua ben Levi asked Mashiach, Le'emas Asimar, when is the master arriving? When are you coming? Speaking to him in third person. Amar Lei, so Mashiach responded, Hayom, today. So Yeshua ben Levi leaves, he's all excited. Mashiach's coming today. Sometime later, Yeshua ben Levi meets Eliyahu Navi again. Picking up their conversation, Amar Lei, Eliyahu Navi tells Yeshua ben Levi, my Amalach, what did Mashiach tell you? Amar Lei, so Yeshua ben Levi say, well, the first thing that Mashiach told me is, Shalom Alecha Bar Levi, greetings unto you, son of Levi. Amar Lei, Eliyahu Navi said, before you even go further in the rest of the conversation, Iftachecha Lacha Olavuch Lamodasi. you and your father have obviously been guaranteed that you're entering into the Mashiach's coming, because he knows who you are. That's why I think when you asked before if I'm going to make it to the world to come, it meant Mashiach's time. In reference to this conversation here, where when Mashiach tells him, greetings to you, son of Levi, that's a way of the fact that Mashiach knows who you are, means you're going to be arriving, you'll be there at Mashiach's time. But Amar Lei, Rabbi Shimon Levi tells Eliyahu Navi, Shakuri Shakar Shakar, he lied to me. Shakuri Shakar Shakar, he lied to me. He lied to me. How did he lie? Amar Li, because he told me, Mashiach told me, says Rabbi Shimon Levi to Eliyahu Navi, Hayom Masina, that he's coming today, which was, I don't know, months ago, years ago, whenever it was. V'layase didn't arrive. Amar Lei, so Eliyahu Navi told Yeshua Levi, he misunderstood what Mashiach said. Hachi Amalach, this is what Mashiach meant when he said this. Now he's quoting a verse. In Devarim, right? The pasuk is in Devarim. No, that's I'm thinking of Parshas Eikav. It's not. Sorry. Yes, it's Tilim. Similar message, but it's in Tilim. Hayom, Mashiach will come today, and V'kolu Tishmon if you listen to his word, to God's words. And story. It's a fascinating story. That's the whole story. Mashiach's going to come today if you do what Hashem wants. That's it. He'll arrive today. So the whole story requires explanation. What does this mean? What's all of it? Why he's in the gates of Rome? He's with the poor people. He's changing wounds Eliyahu Navi, of course, is the herald of the one who's sent to announce Mashiach's coming before Mashiach comes. So it's appropriate that he's the one doing the thing. Why is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai part of the story, even though he's not conversing with anybody? This whole story requires lots of explanation, and of course the floor is open.
And the accusation.
Are there any other?
They lied. Yeah. What was Rabbi Shimon Levi thinking when he said today that he's actually coming that day? Like what was he thinking?
Yeah, but also to accuse Mashiach of lying.
Well, that's pretty bold also.
That's pretty like...
He lied to me.
Is that what it says? Like he lied to me?
Yeah. Literally.
I can understand.
Shikuri Koshakabi. I didn't understand what he said.
I don't understand. Like
no.
He said he was coming, he didn't. Like what's happening? Like
Shikuri Koshakabi.
Like whoa.
He lied. Straight up. He lied.
Yeah, it's pretty strong.
No, you can point to that. Rabbi Shimon Levi may have thought the Mashiach lied and yet didn't lose his faith. Kept on going.
There were also many, well, I don't know about many, but there were false prophets.
But this is Eliyahu Navi telling him who he is.
Right. So that one really, yeah.
Right. There's also another interesting part of the story that I noticed as well, is that when he first says hello to Mashiach, he doesn't say. He refers to him in the first person, Shalom Alecha, greetings unto you. But then after Mashiach responds saying, greetings to you, son of Levi, he responds to him in the third person. He doesn't say Le'emas, like when are you coming? He says, when is Master coming? So he switches from like the less respectful first person to the more respectful third person. And then he feels like he's being lied to. Also, why don't you just go back to Mashiach? He spoke to Mashiach, right? He knows where you're hanging out. He knows how to identify him. Go back to him and say, next morning, go back to him and say, hello, you told me yesterday you're coming. Why weren't you didn't show up?
What's the deal?
Yeah. But sometime later he meets Eliyahu Navi. It's a very interesting story. It requires, obviously, some explanation. There's obviously like a more cosmic internal conversation between the Jew who's in exile, Rabbi Shimon Levi, representative of the one who's in exile, and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and Eliyahu Navi, who representative of those who live in a more spiritual, good world. And there's a conversation between the two, and Mashiach is in the middle, in that he is the one who's going to bridge the gap, and that he's in the place of suffering, as opposed to... In other words, Mashiach's not hanging out with Eliyahu Navi and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Mashiach is not hanging out with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and Eliyahu Navi, who are presumably either the gates of this cave, which is his own spiritual place, or at the gates of paradise, which certainly is a spiritually godly place. Mashiach's hanging out with the people, but the lowest of people. Right? So there's obviously some conversation between the Jew suffering, Rabbi Shimon Levi, who's the Jew wandering around, doesn't know when Mashiach's coming. Eliyahu Navi and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai are living in like this sort of blissful world, and Mashiach, who's supposed to bridge the gap between the two. And there's some larger conversation going on between the three of them, and I don't know what it is, but it's got to be somewhere there. And the key somewhere, I think, is to understanding of this changing of the bandages. That to me seems to be the key to this whole thing.
The thing is, you should have been lady. I mean, when the Moshiach didn't come, he could have come up with that explanation too.
Yes.
I mean,
it's a pretty obvious
you don't
one.
have. Yeah, I mean, he didn't come. Okay, so what did he mean by today? Oh, so maybe today.
He could today.
He could come today, but we have to. He could have figured that out. I mean, he's a sage, right? He's
right.
He's
a scholar. He knew the pasuk.
Oh, he needed.
Eliyahu Navi to tell him.
Enough to tell him. That's what he meant. Oh,
right. Which further indicates to me that Rabbi Shimon Levi, who's a Jew in Golus, doesn't want that answer. He's demanding, "Oh, Mashiach, now you told me you're not coming.
Right.
You lied." Eliyahu Navi, who lives in like this world of spiritual godliness, can say, "Well, there's a whole process, there's a whole thing. You have to listen to what Hashem wants." And Rabbi Shimon Levi is stuck in Golus. Like, what do you mean? You said today, come today. Maybe that's part of it.
Set date.
Today can also mean Rosh Hashanah. Today.
Hayom, that's true. The Zohar says whenever
the world, that's what.
The Zohar says whenever there's Hayom without unqualified, it means Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah.
It's true. Anyway, this is the story.
Perplexing.
Yeah. Okay, we'll stop over here. But there's another kind of fascinating story in a very similar vein that we'll come to. Today's Friday. We'll come to on Monday, God willing. All right. Have a good day and a good night of Shabbos.